Guys, we're back with Sue with the Poplar Bluff Public Library. My name is Chris, and we're getting ready to review another John Wayne film. This one is called The Sons of Katie Elder. John Wayne's in it, but you know who else is in it? Dean Martin. Dean Martin. And he's playing John Wayne's brother?
Yes, he is.
Man, I love Dean Martin, but do you see him as John Wayne's brother?
Actually, Dean Martin played more westerns than you would.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
I did not know that.
If you would go back and look it up, I want to say no less than 5.
Wow.
Western films, and
I never knew.
Yeah. The Rat Pack was just as important in the 19th century as it was in the 20th century.
Sure. So what's going on with the Sons of Katie Elder? What's happening in this film, Sue?
Well, I talked about the fact that there are strong women in these John Wayne films, but Katie Elder, who is in the title role, is not. We don't ever see Katie. Katie has just passed away, and she's the mother of these 4 men.
Yeah.
And these 4 men have basically ignored their mother for several years. And when she passes away, the sons come together and they come to warn their mother and to go to her funeral. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, they find out there's been some mean things done, and that their mother had lost the farm or lost the ranch because of somebody else's greed. But the other part that we know about Katie Elder is that Katie survived. Katie has integrity. She pays her bills, and as the young men go, not young men, but as the men go around to the hardware store, the general store, the funeral home, and the stable, and they want to pay off their mother's debts, and they find out that their mother made her own way, paid her own bills, and that everyone in the town thought she was one of the finest people in the world.
Yeah, that was such an amazing dynamic of this story. It was just your mom's kid. Oh, we love Katie. We love her. That's what you see from everybody they meet in this film. They truly loved her, and that was kind of a cool thing to see. And it affects the sons. They're kind of blown away by it.
Well, I think they're blown away by it, and I think part of that reputation changes them as a result. Yeah. So the goodwill that she created changed them. But what happens is that the 4 sons decide to avenge their mother and to get the ranch back, so to speak. And there's some shoot 'em up, as always, with John Wayne films, and there are some sad moments, and there are some very euphoric moments in which the family comes together and they support it. And you talk about the Dean Martin role. He's a gambler. Gee, imagine that. The Vegas guy is a gambler in the film. And one of the I'll give it away in terms of they fool the bad guy in telling them that they say, well, your father lost the ranch in a blackjack game.
Yeah.
Well, they start with a lie right away and say, well, Dad would have never played blackjack. He thought it was a fool's game. He said no one would have done that. Well, the guy doesn't know, and obviously if he's not doing the right thing, and his father really didn't lose the branch in a blackjack game, he doesn't know any different.
Right.
So that it goes from there. And so they leave and they start chasing, and they're chased and they are chased back, and they're trying to get back, like I said, back to getting the ranch. And so again, integrity, avenging their father's death, and bringing honor back to their and trying to gain some of the honor that their mother had. I shouldn't say their mother had all the honor.
Right.
They trying to regain their faith and their honor in looking after her.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I like the dynamic of the brothers. How they've got the younger one who was sent to college, and he just wants to go and fight and be the big shot or whatever, and they're like, no, you go back to college, and so I really like the dynamic of the 4 brothers, and there's scenes where they're fighting and being brothers and stuff like that. And John Wayne, he comes in kind of halfway through the first act, and he's kind of a big deal. People know his name, and they know that he's a bad dude. So it was kind of cool to see him come in and see people scared of him.
Yeah. And it's obvious that he's the leader, but he's not the only leader. You see leadership coming out in all 4 brothers to some degree.
Yeah.
And there's one brother who is the weakest one, but at the same time, you see him stepping up and doing what he needs to do to save the family name, so to speak.
All right, so The Sons of Katie Elder, is this a film that we can get at the Poplar Bluff
It
Public
is
Library?
One you can get at the Poplar Bluff Public Library, and it's in Blu-ray, so you
cool.
have an opportunity to watch it in Blu-ray.
Cool.
It is, the film is you can check it out and you can watch it and you can enjoy it with your family. Get the popcorn out and
Yeah.
get the Coke out and enjoy it.
I bet those Blu-ray is beautiful with the scenery in the film.
Well, the scenery. In fact, all of the John Wayne films I'd forgotten. If you go back and look at the John Ford films from the 1930s
Sure.
that are done in black and white, it's just amazing. We talk about some of the films that we see today and the panoramic views and what they did with those camera setups and
Yeah.
getting the film and the color.
And they had a beautiful canvas to shoot, Those
Yeah,
are,
the Far West.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say the Sons of Katie Elder was shot in Mexico. So,
Okay.
and I can't remember. I may be wrong on that, but I do recommend it strongly for those. And as with all John Wayne films, all the films have a little bit of humor, and I think that's where you see the playoff of John Wayne and Dean Martin the most.
Very true. Very true. So you can find the Sons of Katie Elder at the Poplar Bluff Public Library. And so much is going on. Remind us again some of the events happening here soon.
Well, part of our celebration with the John Wayne films is that we have an author coming in named Paulette Giles. Paulette Giles is from Missouri, and she has written a book in which it's set in Texas, and which there is adventure and there is a way of moving. And if I can take a few moments and read a little bit here to
Please.
tell you about the book. It's 1870, North Texas, rainy and cold. Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd travels from town to town giving readings from the latest newspapers, bringing the news of the world to isolated towns on the Texas frontier. Now, this is early 1870s. In Wichita Falls, he's asked to return a captive girl to her relatives near San Antonio, 400 miles to the south. Folks, 400 miles in a wagon to the south. And we're going there with them. The old man and the 10-year-old start out a hazardous journey, no less risky, because the girl considers herself now a Kiowa and does not have the slightest desire to return. Bandits and Comanche raids and violent weather make as many difficulties as the 10-year-old girl who can't speak English, eats with her hands, and knows how to use a revolver. I think that's all I need to tell you at this point.
That's awesome.
It is awesome,
Yeah.
and you fall in love with both him and her, and he's the perfect. He is everybody's grandfather,
Yeah.
and the way he treats her and the way that he cares for her.
So Paulette Giles is the name of the author, correct?
That is correct.
And the name of the book is called
News of the World.
News of the World. And we can get that at the library?
We can get that at the library. We have multiple copies.
Sweet.
You can also buy it at Kroger, and I do want to put in a big plug for our sponsor, Sterling Bank, because Sterling Bank has made this possible for the library to bring this to the community.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We'll have more with Sue, Poplar Bluff Public Library, and more right here on the Screen Team.